Welcome back to another edition of the Wiccan Conservative. Today is going to be another real quick video. I'm still putting together the stuff regarding the associate to the January 6th rioters and the disappearance of the attorney, the associate attorney, and all of his issues. There's a lot of information regarding that situation. The actual attorney is back to representing his clients, but it's really a long, interesting case. So we're going to put that on pause for a minute longer. But I really wanted you guys to see this. I was watching Chrisanne Hall this morning, and I'm getting ready to watch Crowder, but this is coming out of the recall election in San Fernando Valley out in California. And I've been telling you guys this probably since I started doing the election cycles and doing the coverage on the botched 2020 election. And it's very interesting now. People are starting to get on the bandwagon with these absentee ballots, the issues with double voting, and the problems that they're seeing in the precincts. But don't take my word for it. Again, this has nothing to do with Trump. This has nothing to do with anything other than how we are conducting our elections. So without further ado, listen to this clip.
Places here in Woodland Hills that have experienced some voting problems. Now, the county says those issues have been fixed, but tonight, one voter in Burbank tells me that's not the case.
Okay, so right here, this is true. This is 110% true. So if you come into our polling location and it shows that you have already voted, I told you guys firsthand that we had 2 voters come into my personal precinct who had showed as already turned in a ballot. We made a couple phone calls and we did not require those 2 to vote provisional. We actually allowed those 2 to vote in person on regular machines. Now, with that being said, I asked this question immediately after the election as well. What happened to the provisional ballots and what happened to the original ballots? We're going back into that question that I asked you guys in the beginning. Where are the double ballots? Where are the chain of affidavits that claim this is what I experienced? I'm signing off for you to destroy a supposed ballot that I've already cast, and I want to put in a new ballot that I'm casting here in person. We don't have those records, and it's disingenuous to say that those records are not needed. This also plays into this record turnout that we've had for this election, this past election cycle. Record turnout for people who have otherwise been disengaged for the last at least 30 years, coming out to the polls to support supposedly the most popular president of all time. And yet none of those people are here None of those people are standing up next to their votes. And actually, we're getting a lot more people who don't believe that this was the outcome of the election. So now here we are in a recall situation where I'm not exactly sure. It doesn't look like Dominion machines in this particular area. I'm very familiar with Dominion equipment in Georgia. I don't know what it looks like in other states, but from what I'm telling you, this is the process. And I've had multiple people here in my own state tell me that this is a stupid point and it makes no difference, and I'm tired of it. This is a big problem. And this is where I think the fraud came from, and this is where I believe our issues came from with the election. But let's finish up here.
Safe option to ensure no one is turned away from voting. After troubleshooting the issue, the equipment at the locations was replaced and voting continued.
I'm concerned about how it's going to affect the outcome of the vote.
James of Burbank says he went to vote today, but was told the same thing, that he already voted.
Put my ballot in and it kicked it right back out and said unable to process vote.
Like those before him, he was offered a provisional ballot instead. But those will take about 30 days to process. Some are now questioning the integrity of the election.
Whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, you should want the technology to work properly and for you to trust it. If you don't trust it, there's no trust in our democracy.
He hit the nail on the head. So, again, let me just reiterate. If these ballots were cast, who were they cast by? Where did they go? And how do you know which ballots to destroy? Because if you open the ballot and separate it from its identifier, you are no longer taking the word of the people. You're no longer taking that vote from that constituent. You are just picking and choosing arbitrarily which votes go where. And I'm sorry, but what we've seen in our society, the way that we have fallen downhill, our lack of integrity, the lack of honesty, and the gut desire to win at all costs, leads me to believe that there's much, much more fraud happening here in our own hometowns. And it's being done by people who think they're doing the right thing, people who want to enforce their will, or people who, buy into these promises, because I don't want to say that everybody has a nefarious reason for doing bad things, for lack of a better word. Sometimes a lot of people think that they're doing things for the right reasons. They're doing bad things for the right reasons, but that's very rarely, very, very rarely the case. So keep your heads up, guys. Do not accept the option of a provisional ballot. Get into your local county registers. Go talk to your local election boards. Go to your polling locations and demand answers. Demand to know why this process is deteriorating. Demand to know what's happening to your ballots, and try to show up on poll day. I have to vote early because I work the elections. So I understand that there are needs that need to be met in order to get a vote cast. But in reality, we should be actively participating on the day and not treating this like a chore that we just, need to pay homage to and get out, get out and do whatever we have to do. Because we're noticing that these people are making extremely poor choices on our behalf. They are negating the voice of the majority, and they are catering to the minority, which, is one of the most dangerous ways to go about running a country, is trying to please people who don't have the best interests of everybody at heart and in their minds. So I did pretty good. That's 10 minutes, guys. I will catch you guys on the next one.